One of my favorite parts about the whole social media cooking thing has been finding out and learning new recipes. And one of those recipes is a smoked chicken finished with an Alabama style white sauce. So that's what I'm gonna make today. Let's go down to our meat dungeon and get our chicken. It's a little nicer from last time. Cleaned up things just a bit. Okay, got our whole chicken. You can also do this with separate chicken pieces, but I like to cook up the whole thing. So we're gonna start with our chicken prep first. So we've got our chicken, I've got my seasoning going with my all-purpose rub, which is gonna be perfect for this recipe. So let's get this guy going. Some gloves on, just to keep things nice and clean. So my plan is to prep the chicken first, and we're gonna kind of let it dry brine in the seasoning. Then we'll fire up the grill, make the sauce, and get everything cooked up. First step is we're gonna take this whole chicken out of the bag. Okay, just be careful because there's usually a whole lot of liquid in here. Easy, easy. Keep the chicken juice in the bag. Ooh, there we go. Just gonna drain all that back into the bag. You can cook this thing as is, just kind of roast it whole, but we're gonna spatchcock it. It's gonna cook more evenly that way, and it's gonna cook a little faster. And what that means is we're gonna cut out the backbone. So that's right here along the back. So I'm using poultry shears. You can use a knife to do this as well, but I find that these poultry shears work really well. So just take your shears and cut on one side, and then we'll cut along on the other side. All the way through. So this comes out. Now you can toss this, or you can save it, throw it in your freezer, then use it to make like a chicken stock, or if you're doing chicken soup. Okay, let's take a quick little break. The noise, I'm not sure if you heard that on video, is this guy right here. Whoop, come on, buddy. So this guy, his name is Jax, and he's our brand new German Shepherd puppy. He is 9 weeks old now, and he's been pretty awesome so far. So let's, if you hear squeaking, whining, he doesn't really bark yet. It's this guy right here. All right, get out of here. All right, let's get back to our chicken. The backbone is cut out, but see, the chicken is still kind of not really super flat. So what you have to do is take your knife and cut right down here by the breastbone, just to kind of help it open up a little bit more. Now kind of press it open, and the whole chicken opens up. Now, if you have any of these like kind of loose fatty pieces sticking out or any extra skin, you can just trim this off right now, because we don't really need any of this. And just cut that right off. Next up, take a paper towel, and if you have any of these inside pieces, wipe those off, and also start to kind of pat this guy dry, and then flip it over, wipe your work area. And now we're gonna wipe or pat dry the skin side. This is gonna help with the dry brine process, and it's gonna help get the skin nice and crispy as this is cooking. If you keep the skin wet and kind of soggy, it's not gonna crisp up while this thing is on the grill. Get in all these crevices. And see, now you can see how nice and flat, right, this chicken is. So as this is sitting on the grill, kind of the breast, the legs, the thighs, it's all kind of at the same level, so it's gonna cook nice and evenly, and one part's not gonna finish before the other one. Next up, we're gonna season this guy up. I like to start with the underside first. So again, using my all-purpose rub, just go with a nice even coat on the meaty side here. There you go, just kind of press that in a little bit, give it a flip, and we'll do the same on the skin side. Just make sure it's a nice and even coat. There's no clumping. It'll cook much better that way, and you get a much better final product. After your bird is seasoned up, just pick it up and shake off any excess. So now this is gonna start the dry brine process. I'm gonna put this guy in the fridge, and we'll just let it hang out there for 20-30 minutes while we fire up the grill and get everything ready. Chicken is in the fridge. Now, ideally, you want to do this the night before if you can. The longer it sits, the better. What's going to happen is the kind of saltiness in the rub is going to start to pull out that moisture from the skin. Like, you're going to get a much better final product, crispier skin, and just a tastier chicken. Let's get the big green egg fired up. So for this cook, we're going to be using the large. So that's this guy right here. I've talked about this in my previous videos, but I'll do a quick overview on the process. So we've got a little bit of lump charcoal left from the previous cook. So what I like to do is just kind of shake off any remaining ash that's on here. Anytime that I'm adding lump charcoal to my egg, I always fill it up to the top of the firebox. Doesn't matter if it's a small cook, short, long, whatever. I always kind of max it out, because this charcoal is reusable, right? So whatever's left over, you can just use it the next time, just like we're doing with what's left in there now. And to get it started, I'm going to use the Big Green Egg Speedlight starter cubes. There's a bunch of different ways you can get these things going. I've used torches in the past. I like these things. Also, a paper towel soaked in olive oil works great too. So whatever floats your boat. So for these, just kind of put 2 right here in the coals, sort of in the center a little bit, kind of cover them up, and then just start these cubes up. My target cooking temperature for the chicken is about 300 degrees to start. So this will take about 20-25 minutes to come up to temperature. But right now, as you can see, there's no grate or anything else above the charcoal. So we're gonna add the plate setter, which is gonna create that indirect cooking zone. And then we'll put the grate right over it. And this is what I mean by the plate setter, right? So this goes right over the coals and it kind of blocks the direct heat from hitting the grate and whatever it is that you're cooking, allowing the chicken really to more smoke or roast rather than grill. But this thing is a little gnarly looking. So if you cook with barbecue sauce or put any sort of baste on your proteins, all that stuff kind of tends to drip down on your plate setter. So I'm gonna clean this off first. And it's actually pretty easy to clean off. I have this kind of metal grilling tool and just scrapes right off because it's all just kind of dried up. Plate setter goes over the coals now that it's clean. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if there's a little bit of it left over. A lot of that stuff will just kind of burn off throughout the cook anyways. Now we've got our grate. This goes right on top. See, so now when the chicken will go on the grate, it has this indirect kind of zone because of that plate setter that's underneath, and it's not gonna burn. It's gonna give it that nice smoky flavor while it's cooking. Chicken is brining, grill is preheating, so let's get started on the sauce first. As I mentioned earlier, this is an Alabama style white sauce, and I've only found out about this a couple years ago after I started my Instagram account. And after I tried it the first time, it's really good, especially on chicken. It's mayo based, so it has a nice little tanginess to it, and it just works super well on smoked chicken. So let me show you guys how to do it. Very easy. We've got some apple cider vinegar. Of course, you got to get a whole gallon jug of it. Some mayo, some Dijon mustard, hot sauce, horseradish, little brown sugar, some agave. You can also use honey if you don't have agave. There's no cooking needed with this. You just kind of mix it all together, and it's best to do it a little bit ahead of time. Pop it in your fridge for about an hour or so. Let everything kind of just marinate and combine, and it's going to be delicious. First up, we're going to go with our mayo. I'm not really going to measure anything. The full recipe will be on my website, so you can get all the kind of ratios and measurements, but just taste as you go. If you like it a little bit more spicy or tangy, feel free to adjust the ingredients. I like to make a little bit more of it. That's why I'm using this big bowl, because the plan is to dunk the chicken in the sauce after it's done to get kind of maximum coverage. We're gonna go with our mayonnaise first. Just gotta get everything out, right? Try not to waste any food. Okay, so next up we've got apple cider vinegar. The main ratio here is 1 part apple cider vinegar to 4 parts mayo. So if you go 1 cup mayo, do a 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar. So I'm gonna add about 1/4 of what's in here already of apple cider vinegar. That looks about right. Dijon mustard is next, so we'll go just with a nice kind of a squirt of this. Our agave syrup, again, you can use honey if you don't have this at home. This is what we have right now, so we're using agave. It's gonna give it a little bit of that sweetness and that unique agave flavor, so about the same amount as our Dijon mustard. Next up, we've got hot sauce to give it a little spice. So I'm using a mix of the Tabasco Sriracha and this Florida Man's Lunacy roasted garlic hot sauce. This stuff is really good. It's super spicy, but has a really nice garlicky flavor. If you've never used this, highly recommend it. It's great on all sorts of stuff. So we'll go with a couple dashes of this one and our sriracha, just a nice little squirt. Horseradish is up next to give it a little more heat and just that good horseradish flavor. If you don't like horseradish, you can leave this out, but this stuff is really good. And last, we'll go with a little light brown sugar. You gotta balance out all this heat with a little sweet. Stuff's a little bit dry already, but just kind of crumble it up in the bag. So that's our kind of mix to start. I'm gonna combine everything together and then we'll give it a taste and see if it needs anything else. Well, I know what we forgot actually. We need a little bit of my AP rub just to give it a little bit more spice, little saltiness, little color. There we go. Okay, let's give it a try. So just kind of taste as you go with this stuff, right? Especially sauces, and you can see the consistency is kind of nice and saucy. So let's try this out. Oh, that's really nice. That is really good. You can kind of taste the mayo, has that nice tanginess from that apple cider vinegar. Nice little heat from the hot sauce. The Dijon, yeah. Again, stuff is delicious on chicken. That's really kind of what it was meant for, but you can put this on pork, really anything. It's great for dipping, for chips. Yeah, this is really nice. Let's make a switch. Our chicken is done with the dry brine, and we're gonna pop our sauce in the fridge now. Just like that. Oh man, this chicken is looking nice. Here, check this out. You can see it got super wet on the outside. That's all that moisture that got pulled out from the salt and the seasoning. So yeah, this is ready to hit the grill. Big green egg is up to temperature. So let's put our chicken on. So what I like to do is just kind of slide it right off the tray, right on the grill, and just like so. It's right in the middle. Temp wise, the grill right now is at 300 degrees. So I'm gonna adjust my vents about a 1/4 inch on top and just about the same on the bottom, maybe a little bit more. We're starting this at 300 degrees with the chicken on, and the goal is for the temp to kind of climb up throughout the cook to about 400 degrees. So what's going to happen is going to give it that nice smoky flavor in the beginning, and then towards the end is going to help the skin get nice and crispy before we pull it off. Total cook time on our chicken is going to be around an hour or so, since we're starting at that lower temperature of 300 degrees. So just keep an eye on those internal temperatures and pull it off when it's done. It's a good time to play with our pup a little bit. Really likes his purple snake. Our chicken has been on for about an hour and a half. We just checked the temp, and take a look. It's temping right around 160 in the breast, which is what we're looking for. And it's, as you can see, the skin is nice and crispy, beautiful color. So let's pull this guy off. I just like to use a spatula, slide it right underneath. Oh, yeah, look at that. Having a puppy is it's like having a newborn in the house. Just keeps running away and eating things that he shouldn't be eating. Stay here, crazy dog. All right, back to our chicken. So as I said, the temp in the breast was right around 160. The safe eating temperature for chicken is 165. But what we're gonna do is take a little foil, cover our chicken, okay, and we're gonna let this rest for about 10-15 minutes. That's gonna bring up that internal temperature to 165. It's gonna keep it nice and juicy, and then we'll dunk it in our sauce. Another question I get asked about is how to turn the big green egg off, or how to kind of put the fire out. So there's 2 vents, right? One on top, one on the bottom. And now that we're done with the chicken, all we do is just kind of close this top vent. We're gonna close this bottom vent. So it's gonna prevent air from coming in and going out. So this will take a little bit, and all that fire, the charcoal is gonna get extinguished, and then it'll be ready to go for next time. While the chicken is resting, we've got our white sauce out of the fridge. Look at this, this is so good. So there is a couple different ways you can do this. You can pour the sauce in a squirt bottle and just pour it over your chicken. You can serve it on the side, but a really fun way is to just dunk that whole chicken in our sauce. So that's what we're gonna do today. This just looks so nice. Skin's nice and crispy. Here's the underside, super juicy. And we're just gonna go right in. Oh yeah. Massage that sauce in. Here she goes. Wow. I mean, look at this thing. This looks so freaking good with that sauce. Oh, wow. Okay, let's move this out of the way. And we're just going to cut our thigh off right here. Oh, it just separates. To carve this up, right, we cut the drumstick and the thigh. If you want to just do the drumstick, just follow along, and you can see where the bone connects, and you can easily just cut right through. So now you've got your chicken thigh, you've got your drumstick with the sauce. Yeah, let's just go for it. Wow. This sauce just pairs so well with a smoked chicken. You get the smokiness of the chicken, the barbecue seasoning, and then the tanginess of that mayo-based sauce, that nice bite through skin. Oh, this is so good. Super messy and super delicious. It's tangy, has a nice little kick to it, and all the flavors just come together so well. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm just gonna hang out here, eat this delicious chicken wing, and go with a little bit more sauce on it. If you guys like what I'm doing, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I will see you next time.